What's going on, YouTube world? Austin Zaback here with another YouTube video, and I am extremely excited for 2019. I'm extremely excited to drop this video for you guys, and I hope that you enjoy. You probably already saw the thumbnail, you saw the description, and if you're in real estate, I know you're going to enjoy this video a ton. It's going to bring a ton of value to you, so definitely stay tuned until the end of the video. Alright, so in this video, we're going to talk about if you can wholesale as a licensed real estate agent in the United States of America, okay? And you know, this question gets brought up to me all the time, right? Where people are always like, Austin, can I wholesale in the US as a licensed real estate agent? You know, what are the laws governing that? Because, you know, I think a lot of real estate agents, they go to school, right? They go to school to get their real estate license, and ultimately, you know, the teachers and a lot of the people that you're typically surrounded by in the real estate space are, you know, unfamiliar with wholesaling, right? Maybe they don't know exactly what it is or whatever the case may be, and therefore what I've found over the last few years is that a lot of people actually advise against wholesaling as a real estate agent. Okay, so we're going to debunk this myth once and for all, whether you can or can't wholesale as a licensed real estate agent, whether it's legal, whether it's not legal, and ultimately, you know, what that looks and feels like. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I want to turn off my phone here. First things first. You know, as a licensed real estate agent, obviously we have a duty and an obligation to disclose, okay? Disclosure is a really big thing, okay? When you become a licensed real estate agent, you know, essentially, if you are a licensed real estate agent, you'll know, and you've been through school, that everyone always preaches disclose, 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 right? And that's very important as a licensed real estate agent. So, you know, you always want to take that into account and just kind of remember that until we get to the end of this conversation. But debunking the myth altogether, and then we'll kind of talk about what that looks and feels like, is the answer to your guys' question is yes, you can wholesale real estate as a licensed real estate agent. It's perfectly legal. If you're familiar with wholesaling, you know exactly how the process works. If you're not, I have wholesaling videos that you can go watch previously on my YouTube channel. Definitely go check those out. But yeah, the answer is you can absolutely wholesale as a real estate agent. There's nothing wrong with it. And as a matter of fact, I encourage it, okay? Anybody that joins my circle, right, my sphere of influence is pretty small these days, but people that join me, I actually tell them to wholesale real estate, okay? So I encourage the people on my team that are wholesaling to actually go get their real estate license. And then I encourage people that are on my traditional real estate team to actually go wholesale. And you know, the reason for that is, and some of you may know if you're watching this and you've seen I have a course called Real Estate Mastery. In no way, shape, or form am I pitching the course right here, right now. But notice the word or the name of the course being Real Estate Mastery, okay? And the reason that I chose that name is because I think there's a lot of people that get into the real estate industry, and by the way, the real estate industry is such a broad niche, right? It's such a massive industry. You know, when someone says, oh, I do real estate for a living, you know, you really don't actually know what it is that they do, right? Because there's so many things you can do. I mean, I could think of 100 without even having, you know, anything to look at and to give you right now of what you can do in the real estate industry. So, you know, to go back to what I was saying, real estate mastery to me is about conquering real estate, right? It's not about just being a real estate agent or just doing commercial sales or just residential sales or maybe even like subject twos, or a lot of people are doing fix and flips, or maybe it's wholesaling. Whatever the case is, there's a lot more. Point of it is, I encourage you as you get into real estate to go out into the marketplace, to go out into the world and dominate all things real estate. And I'll tell you why. The reality of it is, anytime you're faced with a deal, right, a good deal, or you're talking to a buyer, you're talking to a seller or an investor or a wholesaler or whatever the case is, you have to remember is it might not work in this little specific direction that you want it to work, right? Like you might go talk to a seller that's going through bankruptcy, right? And you're a real estate agent. You're trying to list their home, as you should be. But the reality of it is you might get done with your listing presentation and you might realize that it's actually not going to work as a listing. It's just not possible. Maybe the house gets foreclosed on in a month, or maybe they don't have enough equity. Look, it could be a number of things. Point of it is, if you're a well-rounded real estate entrepreneur, here's what you can do. You can immediately shift gears, Okay, you can take your hat that you've been wearing forward and you can turn your hat backwards, right? And all of a sudden you go from a real estate agent to a wholesaler, or vice versa. Maybe you go from a wholesaler and they want more money for their house, and you're like, hey, you know, I understand that we couldn't make this cash deal work here today because our maximum allowable offer, our MAO, is $100,000, and maybe the seller wants $150,000 net in their pocket, right? And before, you would have walked away from the deal altogether. But now, you turn your hat the other direction, you say, guess what? Good news for you, I'm actually a real estate agent. As a matter of fact, I totally agree with you, and I think that you can actually net $150,000. I tell you what I'm going to do for you. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever your pitch is, right? You shift gears, and you have a new pitch. And that, my friends, is what a well-rounded real estate entrepreneur does in the real estate industry. Okay, so now that you understand why you would want to be a well-rounded real estate entrepreneur, right? Real estate mastery, literally going out there and dominating all things real estate. That's what I want for you, by the way. I've done it, and I know if you're watching this, you can do it. Let's talk about what exactly that looks and feels like. So, bottom line is, you keep hearing this word, disclosure, disclosure, disclosure. Okay, now here's the thing. If you're going to go wholesale a piece of property, now I made a video in the past, do you or do you not need an LLC to wholesale real estate? And if you haven't seen the video, definitely go check it out. It's on my YouTube channel. But I'm not going to talk about that right here, right now. I'm just going to assume that you do have an LLC. Okay? Now let's say that you do have an LLC. If you have an LLC, what you have to remember is that your LLC is actually the entity buying the property, okay? An LLC is actually its own entity, so the LLC is over here. Let's just say Cash for Houses. It's actually the name of my LLC, right? So Cash for Houses is here, and Austin Zaback is here. These two things are totally separate, right? I have Cash for Houses, and I have Austin Zaback. If for some odd reason somebody ever wanted to come sue Cash for Houses, they actually can't take any of Austin Zaback's personal assets because it's two different entities. It's like its own human being. Let's just call it that. So what I want you to understand is that assuming you have an LLC that's the purchaser of the property, assuming you're going to wholesale, let's just say Cash for Houses is going to wholesale the deal, and Austin Zaback is a real estate agent. The main thing that you need to keep in mind is that in the contract, in the purchase contract, and verbally, you just want to disclose to the seller that Austin Zaback is, in fact, a real estate agent in the state of Arizona in this case. Obviously, if you're in a different state, then you're going to want to change that verbiage up a little bit. But moral of the story is, I would write in the contract something along these lines, and definitely consult with an attorney or whatever. I'm not giving you any legal advice, but I would say something along the lines of, Austin Zaback is a licensed real estate agent in the state of Arizona and is not representing anybody whatsoever in the purchase of blank, right? And also you could say one or more members of Cash for Houses LLC is a licensed real estate agent in the state of Arizona. At the time of getting that contract signed, I would also want to make it fully aware to the seller that Austin Zaback was a licensed real estate agent in the state of Arizona. Assuming you go through that, you cover all your bases, and you disclose to everybody exactly what's going on and what's happening, and that you are in fact a licensed real estate agent, but you're not actually representing anybody, you're totally fine to wholesale real estate as a licensed agent. So for you watching this right now, if you're out there and you're like, Austin, you know, all these people have been advising against it and this and that and the other thing, and it's so complicated. Guys, it's as simple as disclosure. If you took one word away from this entire video, remember the word disclosure, okay? Disclose, 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 and that's really it. As long as you go out there and you disclose what it is that you're doing and who it is that you are, you'll be totally fine wholesaling real estate. You'll be totally fine being a real estate agent. As a matter of fact, I highly encourage it. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually just hired a full-time videographer. 2019 is going to be the biggest year of my life. I hope it's the biggest year of your life, right? And my goal is to bring daily uploads to you guys the entire year. Bring massive amounts of content, massive amounts of entertainment, and everything that you guys have been looking for. So if you've been watching my channel for a while, definitely drop in the comment section down below what it is you'd like to see in an upcoming YouTube video. Also, if you're not already subscribed, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and give me a big fat heart, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.